Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Edu and Migration's online migration marathon seminar. So today is ACT Day, Australian Capital Territory State Nomination, and the University of Canberra seminar. My name is Tin, and I'm the manager and register migration agents from Edu and Migration. Today we have two speakers with me. One is Momo Kwo, my colleague, who is also a registered migration agent, and Momo will do the first part to explain to you about the state nomination for ACT in this financial year. And then we will have Ingrid, onshore coordinator from the University of Canberra, to talk about the UC programs and scholarship availability for international students. So I just want to do a quick test. If everyone can see my screen and hear my voice clearly. If yes, please type 1 in the checkbox. Thank you. Good. Cool. So during our presentation, if you have any question, just feel free to type in the checkbox. We will have the Q&A section for state nomination and the University of Canberra. So let's start with a poll question first. So which one is the capital city of Australia? Is it Sydney, Melbourne, or Canberra? All right. I think everyone chose the correct answer. Honestly, before I came to Australia, I'm confused whether it is Sydney or Canberra because Sydney seems more popular. So actually for this year, the ACT state nomination is quite complicated from my side. So let's have a look from Momo, then hopefully you will be more familiar with the state nomination policy for ACT in this financial year. So now I will pass it to Momo.
Thank you, Ting. Hi, everyone. My name is Momo, and I am the registered migration agent with Seoul Education and Migration. So today I'm going to talk about the ACT state nomination and if it's easy or not, or if it's a good option for you to move there. Okay. So let's start. So this is today what we are going to discuss today, that why you should consider ACT for your PR pathway, and ACT state nomination overview, and also for the 190 and 491, what is the state nomination requirement for the for ACT, and also we will give you some tips like how you can apply for state nomination with ACT and how it can become easier for you to get a PR. And then next, Ting will explain, we'll talk about the small business stream after the tips. And then we will have the Q&A section after the small business stream from Ting. And then next one, we will talk about the study in ACT. And then we will have the University of Canberra staff from to explain this one for us. And then the last one is the Q&A from the University of Canberra. So next. So why you should consider ACT for your PR pathway? I think the easiest explanation is that there's not many competitive compared to Sydney and Melbourne. There are so many international students, which means that you will have more competitive. However, there are not many students who would like to go to ACT at the moment. So if you go there, then means that you will have more chance compared to others. And then also it's a regional area, then it will give you extra 5 points. 5 points is quite a lot. Some students just less than 5 points that they can get PR. And then also you will have the extended 485 visa option. Normally the 485 visa is 2 years, However, if you study in ACT, then you will get another 1 year extended 45 visa. And then, of course, the wide range of occupation list is quite attractive from ACT. We will talk about the occupation list later. So firstly, we were going to see the state nomination overview for this financial year for 2021 and 2020. You can see, except for New South Wales and Victoria, they really offers a lot of quotas for their state nomination. And also for the South Australia, there's quite a lot as well. Except for these 3 states, ACT have the similar number compared to others, like they have similar numbers with Queensland. However, Queensland is quite big. So, which means that if you go to ACT, you might have a better chance to get the state nomination, like to get 190 or 491. Then we will see the state nomination overview, the nominated places. As I mentioned earlier, there are 1,400 places for 491 and 600 places for 190. And we can see so far, they already invited 348 for the 491 nomination and 153 for the 190. You can see the refusal rates. There's not many refusal, but still have some. So if you are not sure how you can apply, have a higher chance to get your state nomination approved, then you can contact us and then we can apply this for you to make sure that your state nomination will be approved easier. However, the successful rate is still around 100%. 80%. So I think it's quite high successful rate. And then here is the remaining quotas for the rest of this financial year. Still quite a lot of places left. And then here's the ACT state nomination steps. So the first one, of course, you will need to have the positive for skill assessment. No matter which state you apply for, then you will need to get this one first. And then at least 60 points for 190 and 50 points for 491, because the 190 will give you extra 5 points, while 491 will give you another 15 points. And then there's a difference between ACT state nomination and other states, because for other states, you only need to submit the EOI through the skill select. However, for ACT1, you need to submit their own system, which is Canberra Matrix. We will explain what is Canberra Matrix later. And the third step is that you will be selected, and then you can submit your state nomination with 14 days. And then after you submit this one, then you will need to wait the approval from the state nomination, and then you're invited, then you can lodge your 190 or 491 visa within 60 days. So this is the basic nomination steps that you will have a better understand what the steps you need to wait for. So in order to apply for the skill nomination, that you will need to have your EOI selected, like I mentioned earlier, and then you need to live in ACT. And then you need to under 45 years old and have at least competent English. This is equals to IELTS 6. And you need to have a valid skill assessment and then achieve at least 65 points. So let's see the state nomination fee for ACT. If you lodge 491 and 190 and 491, they are the same price, which is 300. There's one more stream for PhD nomination. The state nomination fee is for free, which is quite good if you study PhD there. And then now I'm going to talk about the 491, 190, and PhD stream step by individually. So we need to check the applicant eligibility first. So the first one is that your nominated occupation is on the ACT critical skill list. And then second one, you are a primary holder of the subclass 457 and 482 visa, that is a sponsor visa. And then the third one, you are only a small business. You are a small business owner. So today I'm going to focus on the first one, and then Ting will explain the third one later. And then because the first one and the third one is our majority client, what they will be interested and be eligible for. So we will focus on these two because of the time limit. Okay, so firstly, for 491 state nomination, the big difference between 491 and 190 in ACT is the living requirement and the employment requirement. For 491, it's a little bit easier because you only need to live there for 3 months, and then you only need to work there for 3 months. You also can see the minimum working hours required is 20 hours per week, which means that even if you hold a student visa, you can still apply for 491 because they only request for 20 hours per week. When we look at the 190 state nomination, you can see the living requirement is 3 months extra, which is 6 months. And the employment time is also longer, it's 6 months as well. And then you need to notice that the requirement for working hours per week is 35 hours per week. So which means that if you are holding a student visa, then there's a condition that you only work 20 hours per week, which means that you can't apply 190 because you can't meet the requirement for the working requirement. So you will need to maybe have another visa that allow you to work full-time, like 45 visa, to apply for 190. And then, like I mentioned before, ACT, they have quite a lot of options for the occupations. I just check choose some popular courses because there are too many. But if you are not sure if your occupation is on the list or not, you can contact us and then we can check it for you. So many people says the accountant is like those accountant students is hopeless because the points for 189 is quite high. However, here you can see it's on the ACT critical skill list, which means that you still have hope if you study accounting. So, and another one is the marketing and advertising professionals. Marketing and advertising is quite popular courses for business students. If they don't want to study accounting, then they will choose marketing or advertising. And this one is also on the ST skill list. It can be a marketing specialist or advertising specialist. And next popular one is the early childhood teacher. So this one, which means that you will need to study at least for bachelor degree or master degree. For those who study diploma of early childhood students, then you are not eligible for this one. And the university lectures and also the civil engineering professionals. You can see there are quite a lot. We have quite a few students who study in civil engineering and quantity surveyor. And congratulations, your occupation is on the list as well. And nursing is always a popular courses for international students. So you can see no matter what is your major, then it's on the list. I forget to mention about this column. What does that mean? It means that the quota that they ACT invites for each month, because they put the invitation monthly, and then they will have quota for each occupation. So for nursing, it's less than 10. And then you can see these popular courses here, like especially for the software and application programmer, the quota is 40. I think it's quite a lot. So far, we can see it's around 5 to 10. But for IT related course, you can see the quota is quite a lot. So ICT business is around 20, and software is 40, and database is 10. And media specialist and web developer is 5. So those are all related to IT courses. So if you want to study IT, I think ACT will be a good option for you. Then, and of course, social worker, like is popular as always, and welfare workers, And also one popular course is for international students, chef and cooks. So if you are interested in cooking, then you can study in ACT because both chefs and cooks are there. And then also the motor mechanics, it's also on the list, and metal fitters and carpenter. Carpenter is getting popular and popular. And I know the salary is quite high, and then they need a lot of builders to develop ACT. So I think the requirement for carpenter and joiner will become higher and higher, more and more. And then we just talk about the system. The point system with ACT is different from others. So when we launch the EOI, it's the point test with the Department of Home Affairs. However, ACT have their own system, which called matrix score calculator. So you can check this one online, and then the total score is 195. Yeah, it's quite a lot points, right? And then because it divided into 12 different categories, like how long you have been living in ACT, and then if your English is good, or if your partner's English is good, and your nominated occupation, and if you are a small business owner, and how long have you been working in ACT, and also the ACT employment if you are in a skill level, and also your spouse, his or her employment, and also tertiary qualification, about your qualifications, and also how long you have been studying in ACT, and then if you have any families, close families living in ACT, and also the assets. We will talk about this one by one. So you can see the first one is about your how long you have been living there. So you can see from 1 year to 5 years. If you live there for 5 years, then you get 25 points. And then, yeah, even you live there for 1 year, you still have 5 points. And then for the second one, the English proficiency. So if you get superior, which is IELTS 8 above, then you get 15 points. And then if you get IELTS 7, then you get 10 points. So the third one is about the spouse or your partner, how's their English ability. So if their English is good, like more than 7.0 IELTS score, then they can give you extra 5 points. And then for the next nominated occupation, if your nominated occupation is on the ACT critical skill list, then you will get 20 points. That's quite a lot of points. So if you're considering to study in ACT, you can always check the critical skill list of ACT first. Then you can have a great idea of what you can choose. And the next one is the small business owner. Tim will explain this one later in more detail. But if you have this one, then you get 20 points. And then, yeah, but you don't need to have this one. For most of our clients, they are not small business owners. So even if you don't have this one, don't worry, you will still have enough points. I will show you the data later. And next one is how long you have been working in ACT. If you have been employed there for more than 1 year, then you get 10 points. And then if it's less than 12 months, like say 6 months to 12 months, then you still get 5 points. So this one, what is good is that you can be working in any occupation. It doesn't have to be with your nominated occupation. If I study IT and nominate IT as my occupation, I can work in a restaurant. So it doesn't need to be connected, which is quite good. But you will still have to be working as at least 20 hours per week. And then you can also have the ABN, which means that you will be self-employed. However, the income needs to be more than 520. This is what you need to notice for. And then next one is the ACT employment to check if you are on the skill level. So if your job is your nominated occupation is related and is on the ACT critical skill list, then you will have 20 points. If you are a 457, like a 482, the sponsorship owner, the visa holders, then you get 15 points. And if you are working in an occupation that is on the ACT list, but it's not your nominated occupation. For example, if you study non-critical skills course, but you are working in the critical skill list, for example, IT, with so many IT occupation on this, right? So if you are working as an IT, you still can get 10 points here. And then what you need to be noticed for is that they still require minimum 20 hours per week. And then the hourly payment needs to be more than $26. Yeah, and then small business owner needs to be at least 13K for the income for the last 3 months. And same for the self-employment, it has to be minimum 520 per week. Next one is if your spouse or your partner is employed in ACT. So if they are under the, they are working in an occupation on the ACT critical skill list, and then their hourly rate is more than 26 per hour, then they can give you extra 15 points. However, if they're working, their job is not on the skill list, then they can still give you 10 points as long as their salary is not less than 26 per hour. And if they are working in any occupation, no matter which skill level, then they can still give you 5 points as long as they have a job there. But they need to meet the 3-month employment criteria. They do not need to meet the 3-month criteria, but they will need to have a tertiary qualifications, like you need to study 3 years trade qualifications or a bachelor's degree or master's degree or a PhD. And then they will need to have competent English, which is IELTS 6. Then even they don't have the job there, they can still give you extra 5 points. And next one is the tertiary qualifications. So if your qualifications is the, like say, doctor degree, you will get 20 points. Master degree get 15 points, and bachelor and trade certificates get 10 points. The trade certificates, I believe most of you know what is this one, like cookery, automotive, or carpentry. They belongs to the trade certificates. And if you study diploma qualifications, at least 18 months, then you can get 5 points. So for this one, you don't need to study your qualification in ACT in order to get the points. You can study anywhere. And the next one is how long you have been studying in ACT. So you can see it's quite beneficial. The longer you study in ACT, the more points you have. For example, if you study 2 years master there, then you can get 2 years of study there. And if you study bachelor degree, like Bachelor of Social Work, this 4 years program, then you get 20 points after you graduate. What needs to be specified here is that for professional year in ACT, it also counts as a 1-year study requirement for this category. So for those students who study IT, accounting, and engineering, they have the choices to study professional year. And then in this case, if they study in ACT, then they can count as 1-year study experience in Canberra in ACT. So the next one is that if you have close family ties in Canberra, if yes, that's 20 points. And then if it's there, you have no relative there, don't worry, you still will have enough points. And also if you are rich, the minimum asset requirement is 250K cash. Invest in ACT residential or commercial property. but it's only give you 5 points. So I think it's not a big difference if you have access in Canberra or not. So we will give you some scenarios so you can have a better understand how the points will look like. So for example, Tom, who is an international student, and he studied Master of IT in ACT for 2 years. And also after he finished his master, he studied professional year for 44 weeks. He has IELTS 7 and positive skill assessment and 6-month working experience in IT field, have relevant working experience. He has a girlfriend, Mary, who studied Master of Business, major in accounting, and also she passed the skill assessment as well. And Mary also have IELTS 7 in each band and has been working as an accountant for 3 months in ACT. So you can see the points for Tom here, like he can claim the residence, like he has been living in ACT for 10 points and English 10 points. And from her partner, she got 5 points English proficiency. And because her partner is employed in ACT, so he also get the 15 points. And because IT is the nominated occupation, so it's 20 points. And then he has been working there for 6 months, so he get another 5 points. And yeah, for the tertiary qualification, he can get 15 points. And then also he get 2 years studying Master of IT and 1 year study professional year. That's totally 3 years. Give he 15 points. So in this scenario, Tom will have total 115. So we will have roughly points like how you need to get in order to get the invitation from ACT. But normally for 190, you will need to get at least 95 points. So if you study at ACT and find a job there, and you also have a good girlfriend, then you can get 115 points, and then it's easy for you to get the state nomination there. And next one, we can see if Tom to study there but doesn't have girlfriend, the total score will be 95, which is quite enough as well. Of course, the higher points, the better, but 95 currently is enough for Tom to receive the state nomination as well. So he doesn't have the 15 points from her girlfriend. I think it's still okay because 95 points still quite high. Yeah, so that's if Tom studied there but no partner in this scenario, he will get 95 points. And the next one we'll see if he doesn't study there and he doesn't have the partner as well, what happened? Then you can see the point is only 70 points because he studied Master of IT in Queensland, which means that he is not he is not living in ST for enough long. If you will need to live there for more than 12 months in order to get points, but he only get working there for 6 months, so he get 0 points from the length of residence. And yeah, of course, he has the English and the occupation like others. But yeah, without girlfriend and without studying there, the point is not enough yet. So from these three, you can have a better understand how important it is to study in ACT. If you study there, you will get the points higher easily. Okay. So we can check here the invitation round from October 11th of October. There's no invitation yet because it just starts. So we can skip this one. There's no invitation here. And then for the 457, 482, they have 4 invitations for 190. And the majority of this one, the majority of this one is from 190, we got 49 invitations, and the metric score is 90 points. However, for accounting, it's 105. Still not too bad because metrics, you can see it's easier than the EOI score, so it should be no problem. And for 491, they got 67 invitations, and the metric score is only 65. So 65, I believe it's quite easy for most of you, that if you want to apply for the, if you can find a job there, then it will be easier for you, because 65 points you can add easily get the points. And for accounting, currently it's 95 points. Then the last stream is the PhD stream. Many of my PhD students, they will ask me if there's any states that have more benefit for the PhD students, and ACT is one of them. So if you only need to live in Canberra for at least 12 months, which is 1 year, and then you complete your PhD at ACT universities, and your nomination occupation does not have to be on the critical skill list, does not have to be. You only need to have nominated any occupations on the Department of Home Affairs list. That's enough. But of course, you still have to have a positive skill assessment, because that's the basic requirement for state nomination. And for PhD students, they do not need to claim the metric points. They just need to complete the online Canberra matrix, and that's enough for them. So I will talk about some tips for ACT state nomination here. So firstly, if you haven't have a skill assessment, and please do it as soon as possible, because normally for the skill assessment, it takes about 4 weeks to 12 weeks. So the earlier you get, then you can lodge your skill state nomination earlier. And then, yeah, as we see, the higher English you have, then the most points you have. And then for ACT state nomination, you will need to have a job. So if you can find a job there, it will help you to get your state nomination. And of course, study in ACT. And even if you currently didn't study there, you can still consider to move there and study your professional year if you are accounting, IT, or engineering students. And next one is find a partner. But if you don't have one, that's fine. But if you have a partner, then bring her or him to Canberra with you, and then encourage her to study there and find a job there. Then both of you will get more benefits from this one. They really give a lot of points from your partner. So here are some recommended study area. It's not really like we recommend you to study this one, but those are popular courses, and also it's easy to find a job as well. And for example, the IT related course, and if you study cookery, you can choose the cafe and restaurant manager, or as a cook, or as a chef, or the carpentry, social work, and any engineering professionals. And accounting here is also applicable, and marketing specialist, early childhood teacher, or registered nurse. So next, I will pass it to Ting, and then he will talk about the small business stream for us.
Yep,
Hi,
thank you,
Ting.
Momo. Yeah. So I believe some of you have heard about the small business owner stream for ACT for this July for the new financial year. So it is totally a new stream. So previously, some of you may have heard about the Queensland state nomination for the small business stream. So this is some highlights for the ACT SBO stream. So they have more than 200 occupations available. So as long as your occupation is on the MLT SSL or the STSOL, you will be eligible to apply for the small business owner stream. And it is quite suitable for those who struggle to find a job in ACT, as Momo explained. So if you don't have a job in ACT, you won't have much higher points. So another one is for ACT small business owner stream. It is available for 190 and 491 visa both. So for some state, let's say for Queensland, it is only applicable for the 491 visa. It is not available for 190. So it is a great benefit for ACT if you are operating your own small business. And you can apply for the state nomination as short as 6 months when you operate a business in ACT. and you can operate a business under any visa with working rights. So let's say for Queensland again, they require applicants to have a full-time working visa. So for ACT, you only need to have a, let's say, student visa or 45 visa or working holiday visa. You can still meet the visa requirement to operate a small business in ACT. And you can either establish your own business or you can purchase an existing business in ACT for this stream. So as Queensland is quite popular for the small business owner stream, so I'm comparing both. So for the applicant requirements, so ACT is, like I said, is both available for 190 visa and 491, while Queensland is only available for 491. And for the skill migration point test, all require DHA point test 65. But for the metrics, as Momo just showed, there was not many invitation yet. So we don't know how high you may need to get for the metric score. And for the occupations, all the same. And for English requirements, the basic requirement is to have competent English, which is IELTS 6. But for ACT, if your nominated occupation is skill level 1 or 2, let's say most managers and professional occupations, you need to have higher English level, which is IELTS 7 or PTE 65. For other skill level, it only requires you to have IELTS 6 or PTE 50. For the visa requirements for Queensland, previously they require you to have a full-time working visa, while for ACT, you can have any type of visa that has working rights. And for the residence requirements, for ACT, if you would like to apply for 190 visa, you need to live there for at least 6 months, while for 491, you only need to live there for 3 months. But this is quite tricky because for 491, if you would like to apply, you need to operate the business for 6 months. So still, you need to live there for 6 months and operate the business. And some more details about the investment requirements. So for Queensland, previously, they require you to purchase an existing business, which is more than 100,000. But for ACT, there will be no requirements about the purchase, the investment amounts. And for the ownership for Queensland, you must be 100% ownership of the business. But for ACT, you just need to be the major owner, which is more than 51% share in the business. And you can either purchase a business or you can establish your own business. And the operation duration is same, 6 months. And the annual turnover, so for Queensland, they don't have specific requirements for your business annual turnover. But for ACT, they do have, it is 200K per year or 100K for 6 months. If you just want to apply after 6 months, you just need to prove your business and turnover is 100K for the last 6 months. And it is quite similar for the employee requirements. You must have employed at least one Australian citizen, PR, or New Zealand citizen for 13 weeks in ACT. And it only needs to be part-time, 20 hours per week. And for ACT, they have stricter requirements that the business must be making profits. There is no requirement for Queensland that you must make profits, but for ACT, you must make profits from your business. And the applicant's income requirements is quite similar. For ACT, you need to have 26K for half year for 190 visa. And for 491, you need to show at least 13K for the last 3 months. And this is the overview and details about small business owner stream. So now I would like to talk about some restrictions for ACT, what type of business you can't operate in if you would like to apply under the small business owner stream. So subtenancies, rideshare like Didi, Uber, taxi, delivery, courier services, or a business that previously has been used to qualify for the ACT nomination is not eligible to apply under the small business owner stream. All right, so this is the overview about the ACT state nomination in both employment stream or the small business owner stream. So I would like to give you a bit more ideas why you need to choose Sole Agent Migration for your visa services. So we have 2 offices in Brisbane, one in Brisbane City and one in Sunnybank area. We have a team of more than 50 staff, and we have staff that can speak the majority of your language. We speak Mandarin, Cantonese, Korean, Japanese, Vietnamese, Thai, Spanish, Portuguese, Hindi, and of course, English. So yeah, so basically, if you have any question, please type in the checkbox now. So it is the Q&A section now for the state nomination for ACT. So while we're waiting for some questions, probably we can give you some examples, like the frequent asked question from our daily counseling. So a lot of clients, they would like to ask, can interstate applicants who are not currently living in Canberra then be eligible to apply for the ACT state nomination? Okay, so the answer is no, because you must be currently living in Canberra in ACT to be eligible to apply for the state nomination. Okay, so we have got one question in the checkbox. I have a skill assessment as registered nurse NEC occupation. Can I work unlimited hours if I'm on my student visa in ACT? If so, can I apply for visa 190 when I'm holding student visa? Thank you. So Momo would like to take the question.
Hi.
Yep, so probably I will repeat the question.
Yes.
I have a skill assessment as the registered nurse NEC stream. And can I work unlimited hours? I think probably Tess would like to ask, due to the COVID situation about the student visa relaxation for the working hours. So can I work unlimited hours if I'm on my student visa in ACT? If so, can I apply for visa 190 when I'm holding student visa?
Yes, because currently due to COVID situation, they relaxing the working hours for some occupations, and registered nurse is likely one of them. So you can, if you are working in the hospital as a registered nurse, then you can work unlimited, and it can also count it as your working hours at more than 35 hours per week. Then you will be eligible for 190 visa. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we have another question here about the ABN. Probably would like to ask about the self-employed or small business owner stream. If I have an ABN registered at ACT, how could I prove my business? So normally, I believe if you have registered for the ABN, then you will also have the, I'm not sure if you have registered for ACN as well, then you can provide the ASIC certificates. It will show your registered address, or you can ask your accountants to issue a statement to prove the business address. Okay. So the next question is from Kiki Liu. Is there any unit offer graduate entry nursing degree in ACT? So I will keep this question to the University of Canberra presentation later. Thank you for asking, Kiki. So just want to check if anyone have more questions about the state nomination in ACT before we pass it to Ingrid to talk about the UC popular programs and scholarships. Okay, seems all good. Thank you, Momo. So we will now pass it to Ingrid. Ingrid is the onshore coordinator from the University of Canberra. So she will be talking about the UC popular programs and scholarship available for international students today. Hi, Ingrid, how are you?
Hi, how are you? It was
Good.
quite interesting listening to some of your presentation about Canberra.
Yep.
So I will share my screen if you'd like me to start, and I'll give a bit of an overview about UC and some of the courses that are offered.
Yep, sure. You can share your screen. Yeah.
Okay, just bear with me 1 second. I'm just having a go. So we will just on there. Share. So is that my start screen that you can see there?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Okay. So hi, my name is Ingrid Davis, and I work in the global student recruitment area of University of Canberra. So obviously many of you are located here in Australia already. So I'll just give you some fast facts about UC. We are in the top 1% of universities and currently the fastest rising university in the world. We're ranked in Australia's top 10, according to the Times Higher Education. We do have some generous scholarships that I am going to talk to you about a little bit later on in the presentation. And as we said, the extra year of post-study work eligibility for the extended subclass 485. So they're just a quick thing. And now I'll go into a little bit more depth, as I said, about our global reputation and our place in the Times Higher Education rankings. UC is jumped 14 places in this year to rank 170th globally. As you can see from that graph, over the last 4 to 5 years, UC has rapidly risen throughout the rankings, and that's not bad for a university that is only celebrating its 30th birthday. So, as why choose Canberra? Career opportunities. These are some of the things that over the years we've found that students have looked at when they are looking for a city in Australia to settle in or to study in. So we're looking at, there's always rising opportunities in the Canberra future job market, growing economy. So despite COVID, Canberra has actually one of the fastest growing economies in Australia. And of course, I mentioned the opportunity to study for up to 3 years post on the 485, the extended 485. Canberra has consistently held the lowest unemployment rate in the country. One of the things I will mention about Canberra is the misconception that it is all government jobs. There is a very large private sector with lots of opportunities for employment in Canberra. So don't be discouraged on thinking because it is the seat of the federal government that there is only government jobs available. There is a large and growing private sector as well. So why choose UC? As I mentioned, it is about employability. So we have a very strong work integrated learning component at UC. So we have work integrated learning, placements, internships, virtual and face-to-face, student jobs on campus. We have a careers hub that will help with resources for career planning, graduate programs, and finding the right job. So there's some of the things that we will assist you with once you're a student at UC. So here, as I mentioned, here are some of the employers and partners that we do work with, both on a global and a national level. So a lot of our students in PwC, KPMG, and of course into the hospitality area like Accor Hotels. So there is a wide range of employers that UC has links to, both during your study and postgraduate. Just quickly, so UC has actually 5 faculties. We offer undergraduate and postgraduate and research degrees across these faculties. So career opportunities, I won't go into specific courses unless you'd like to pop them into the chat. So more focus on what career opportunities, because the majority of our undergraduate programs are all accredited within their particular profession. And I can answer questions, or Soledu can answer questions about some of those accreditations. But for Faculty of Arts and Design, so that is where we look at our landscape architecture, building construction management, graphic designer, advertising or interior design, and international studies and humanities. Faculty of Health. Now, UC is a very comprehensive university for health programs. So across all the allied health, which if you are looking for a profession and a career to take you forward, we do provide programs in psychology, nursing, OT, physio, nutrition, medical radiation science are probably some of our most popular courses, both at a postgraduate and undergraduate level, and they are limited places and ranked courses. So apply early if you are looking at one of those top 3 courses there, or a career as an OT, a physio, or medical diagnostic radiographer. So of course, I did hear the question about nursing, and I will come to that at the end. We do offer our Bachelor of Nursing at present, but again, places are extremely limited for that now. And I do believe that 2022 applications are currently closed. Faculty of Science and Technology is where our IT areas, and then into our science area. So there, again, some of the career opportunities, if you are looking for something to match up to the skills list, some of the programs we offer in environmental, IT, information systems engineering, and by engineering I mean software engineer. So we have both postgraduate Master of Data Science, Master of IT, and a range of undergraduate programs to suit you, with some nice scholarships attached, especially to the Master of Data Science. Faculty of Business, Government and Law, again, accounting, human resources, economist. These are some of the areas that we do have great graduate outcomes for. And if you are going at a both postgraduate and an undergraduate level, with looking at further stay in Canberra, so plenty of job opportunities, plenty of internships and work integrated learning within this faculty as well. Now, the last faculty is one that UC actually started with, which was our education faculty. So a range of postgraduate opportunities here, both in education, education studies, and in teaching. So the differences between teacher registration. So if you are looking at teaching, we have both primary and secondary in a postgraduate level, and of course, Master of Education and Master of Education Studies. Now, the one question that we are asked a lot these days, and we do like to help out our applicants, is under scholarships. So with UC, you don't have to apply for a separate scholarship. These scholarships are assessed at time of application. So as you can see there, for an undergraduate requirement, for an international merit scholarship, which is 10% of tuition fees for the duration of the degree, it is from your Year 12 or equivalent, 70% grading or higher, and from a postgraduate level it is 65%. And then of course our High Achievers Scholarship, which is for 20% of the degree. The course specific one for the 25% for the duration of degree is available for a select few courses, both undergraduate and postgraduate, and for some specific nationalities as well. So I can provide the link to the website where you can actually see those as well. So as we mentioned, with like all courses, there are English language requirements, so you can meet them through obviously the recognised tests, but there are a number of other ways you can meet them. such as through previous study here in Australia or study at a recognised institution. So do ask the question about ways that you can actually meet for coursework, the English proficiency requirements. We do a number of packaged courses, and the credit arrangement, it is working if you have done study here in Australia, at looking at the university's credit search website, which I can provide Solid you with the link for that. So if you were looking at a Bachelor of Building Construction Management or into interior architecture, there is a number of pathways and diplomas. But here is a list of all the credit arrangements that we have or have in place for a variety of previous study. So a lot of those it is an automatic credit arrangement, or you can actually apply to the faculty at time of application for a credit arrangement. So there's a little bit about my my information, our admissions team. I will I hope that was kind of helpful in a brief overview of what UC has to offer, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Ingrid. So probably the first question is from Kiki. Is there any graduate entry nursing degree in UC, probably?
So we are looking at offering the Masters of Nursing graduate entry program. We were due to launch that last year, but due to accreditation and everything like that, it is still not open for applications. We are hoping it will be semester 2 next year. Okay. So it is just a matter of checking back with yourself or on our website that program will be offered. So yeah, we are looking at offering it, and probably will be a SEM 2 intake only for that master's program. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and probably I would like to ask about the Master of Secondary Teaching. So for the English requirements, would let's say if student completed their bachelor here in Australia, will they be waived for the IELTS to get into the Master of Secondary Teaching?
It's not so much waived. As I said, that link talks about what you can, how you can meet it through previous study. Normally a 3-year bachelor degree will meet the entry requirements, yes.
Okay, cool. Yep. And for the secondary teaching again, so is there any assumed knowledge the student need to have for their previous studies?
If you're talking about masters,
secondary teaching,
masters of secondary, so it has to be relatable to something on the ACT curriculum, from my understanding. So previous study must have some relation to a curriculum subject, which is fairly broad. So there are a number of ones available, but we can check, if you have any concerns, we can check directly with faculty, and they're very quick to come back with advice on that.
Yeah, but only require one teaching area, right?
Yes.
Because in Queensland, secondary teachers, they need to teach 2 different areas. So it's a kind of benefits for ACT teachers. They only need to choose one as the secondary teacher.
Yes.
Yes. And probably if anyone have any question, just feel free to type in the chat box, then we can answer. And for the IT, as my colleague Momo just explained, IT is quite popular and it's quite easy to get state nomination approved. So probably Andrew can introduce some master level for IT courses. I remember you mentioned about the Master of Data Science.
Okay, so across our IT section in postgraduate, we offer a Master of Business Informatics, a Master of Data Science, a Master of Information Technology, and a Master of Information Technology and Systems, and a Master of Engineering. So the most popular courses there are Master of IT and Master of IT, Information Technology and Systems. Now, the main difference between those is for Information Technology and Systems, the entry requirement is simply a completed bachelor degree or equivalent. It does not have to be in a related field, whereas a Master of Information Technology, it requires a bachelor degree or equivalent in an information and communication technology field.
Okay, okay. And all of these IT postgraduate degrees are accredited by ACS?
Yes, except for Master of Data Science, because ACS doesn't actually, like for master's programs, don't usually require accreditation. But so the IT ones do, the Master of Data Science is not currently accredited.
Okay. And for the Master of Data Science, will it require students to have a strong statistics or mathematics or IT background?
No, Master of Data Science, well, for an entry requirement, it doesn't.
Okay.
So it is just any completed bachelor degree. It does not have to be within a relatable field.
Yeah.
But there is some inherent knowledge required.
Yes, I think so.
But
For data science is quite, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah. So yes, it would be quite difficult, but we don't have it as an entry requirement, but there is some assumed knowledge if you are looking at pursuing a data science.
Yeah. Okay. All good. So
and as I mentioned, that course actually attracts the 25% scholarship. If they do meet that merit scholarship basis.
Yeah. And regarding the scholarship, or actually some universities in Australia nowadays, they will offer some kind of discounts for students who study online offshore in their own country. So for UC, do you usually offer the similar?
Yes, so we do. So in addition to those scholarships, if they are studying online, there is a further 10% scholarship.
10%, yeah.
So if they're offshore currently and say went for a Master of Data Science, they would receive the 25% scholarship, and they would receive it to the 10% scholarship or tuition discount, making it roughly 35% for that course. So it is in addition to those scholarships, the 10% online.
Yeah. Thank you. I think we don't have any. Oh, okay. We have one question. Do you have short English course before entering the bachelor degree?
Yes, so we actually have a college. We have University of Canberra College, which is a Navitas college. So we do offer all levels of English that we can package with undergraduate. So just we need a, or they can sit a placement test to identify a PVT, to identify their level of English, and we are happy to package those with bachelor programs. There are also a range of diploma programs available within that University of Canberra College as well.
Thank you. And probably I can ask another question regarding the English course. So if student already meet the English condition for the bachelor or master program, will UC provide any kind of English support for international students while they study? Yeah.
So there are a large range of support options, both for English and also for maths and study skills available at UC. So through our library area, there is actually a number of courses, assisted both tutors and assisted study level for whether they're international students or domestic students. There are a number of help options available there.
Thank you. Good to know. Yeah. So it seems we don't have any further question, but for all the attendees, if you have any further question, just feel free to contact Seoul Adrian Migration and we can answer your question. If your question is too difficult, then we will contact UC to find the answer for you. All right. So thank you, everyone. for
Thank
joining
you.
us today. Thank you, Ingrid. And before we finish, I would like to remind that we will still have 4 online webinars coming in this month. So we will have the Victoria State nomination with Monash University on this Thursday, same time, 2 to 3:30 p.m. Brisbane time. And if you haven't registered yet, you can register via the QR code. So we will see you on Thursday.